Well, the third try is the charm. So here we have it. The star stitch granny afghan. Okay, so let's get started. Let me move this out of the way. Alright, so let me move that. I don't think I've ever had so much trouble with the pattern before in my life. Alright, so step 1, you're going to chain 5 and join with the slip stitch. Okay, and I'll try and go slow at the important parts. So that's the chain 5, join with the slip stitch. I take this tail and I carry it over my yarn this way, and when I do my next stitches, it's going to trap this tail. So she said to chain 3, and then you're going to do 2 double crochet in your circle. So 1, 2. That first chain 3 counts as your first double crochet. And now you're going to chain 3. Now this next step, you're going to repeat it 4 times. You're going to chain 3, you're going to double crochet 3, double crochet 3, chain 3, and then double crochet 3, and you're doing that until you have 5 of these clusters. So it's going 1, 2, this is the third one. I really got to do something about my yarn. It's driving me crazy. Ugh. And my camera angle. It's driving me crazy too. I don't know if y'all can see. Remember, still trapping that. So it's 2, that's 3, chain 3, and then do 3 double crochet, chain 3, and then this is going to be our last 3 double crochet cluster. 1, 2, 3, and then chain 3. So 1, 2, 3, and you're going to join with the slip stitch at the top of your beginning chain 3. So you're going to join the slip stitch. Okay, and now you should have 5 of these clusters. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 clusters. You should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points. So now you're going to slip stitch over to your first chain 3 space. So we're slip stitching over, and then we're going to slip stitch through the chain 3 space and then chain 3. 1, 2, 3. This counts as your first double crochet. Now you're going to be making what she calls shells. Okay, and her shells are 4 double crochet, chain 3, 4 double crochet, and basically it looks like this. For her, I guess when people do double crochets like that, It looks like this: 4 double crochet, chain 3, and then you got 4 double crochet again. So it makes a shell. Yeah, like a shell, like that. It's gonna look like that because you know you come down to a point. Ignore my attempt to. I don't chart, but that's what you're gonna get. That's the effect you're gonna get. So you're gonna do. You have 1. This chain 3 counts as 1 double crochet. So you're gonna do 2, 3, 4, chain 3, and then do 4 double crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now you're going to repeat this shell in these chain 3 spaces. So you're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4 more of these to do. Okay, so I'm speeding up. 1, 2, 3, 4, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and so now we're going to do another shell. So you just keep on doing that all the way around to the beginning. I'm not stopping the video, and I'm not editing this video. It took me 4 tries to figure out this pattern because the written instructions to me, the way they're written, it was a little confusing. So that's 4, chain 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we got 1 more to do. 1, 2, 3, 4. Chain 3. And 1, 3, and 4. Okay, so now we're going to join with the slip stitch to our beginning chain over here. And we're going to slip stitch over to our first chain 3 space. Okay. Chain 3. 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to do our first shell. Remember, this is your first double crochet. So we're going to do 3 double crochet. 1, 2, 3, chain 3, and 3 double crochet. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so now we're getting to the part of the pattern that is a bit confusing. Okay, so this is round 3. Okay, and in round 3 she says to, alright, so we did our first shell. Okay, skip 2 double crochet and cluster in the next double crochet. So we skip 2 double crochet and we cluster in the next double crochet. So we're going to do 2 double crochet, 1, 2, in the next double crochet. So we're going to skip 2 double crochet. So that's skipping 1, skipping 2, and we're going to cluster in the top of this double crochet. So that's 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet. We're going to skip 2 double crochet, which is these 2, and now we're going to form our shell. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, and so it should look like this on the side right now. You have your first cluster, you skip this double crochet and that double crochet, and then you did a cluster in the top of this one. You skip this double crochet and that double crochet, and you formed a cluster here. You skipped 2, and then you did your shell. And so you're going to repeat that all the way around. So now we're going to skip 2 double crochet. So that's skipping 1, skipping 2. We're going to do a cluster in the top of this one. So that's 1, 2, and then we're going to skip this one and this one, and we're going to do a cluster at the top of that one. And now we're going to do our shell. Four, chain 3, and then we do 4. Just trying to see if my chair will go up any higher because it's kind of awkward. Okay, skip 2 and cluster. 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet, skip 2 and cluster. 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet, do your shell. 1, 2, 3, 4, chain 3, and do your 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and now we're back to our cluster. So skip 2 and cluster. A cluster is 2 double crochet. 2, skip 2, which is these 2, and we're going to cluster. 1, 2, and we're going to skip these last 2 and do our shell. So 1, 2, 3, 4, chain 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Alright, and now this is our final section of clusters. So you're going to skip 2 and cluster. We're going to skip 2 and cluster. And these clusters is going to be where you slip stitch. So don't do your slip stitches too tight because you got to go up under there. And we skip 2, and then we're going to cluster. Okay, and so now we're going to join with the top of our chain 3 at the beginning. And then we're going to slip stitch over. Remember, do your slip stitches a little loose because you got to go up under those slip stitches to finish out your next round. And then we're going to chain 3. Okay. Now, this is the part that is repetitive. Okay. So we're going to do our first shell. It's just a chain 3 is the first double crochet. So we're doing our first shell. And so the rest of your pattern is going to be worked this way throughout. Chain 3 and then do our 4 double crochet for the shell. Alright, now you're going to skip 2, skip 1, skip 2, and you're going to go between these double crochet. You're going to go in between these double crochet. You're not going to go into this top stitch anymore. You're going to go in between the space between the double crochets. So you got 1, 2, and just like pull apart, you'll see this little hole in there, and you're going to go up under that loop and do your cluster. So you're going to do 1, 2. Now you're going to go in each cluster space. Okay, this is the cluster space. You're going to go in there and do a cluster. 1, 2 for your cluster, 2 double crochet, and we're going to do it again. Now we come to our shell. You are going to go in between. There's 4 double crochet in the shell. You're going to go in between. So you're going to separate 2, 2, and you're going to make your space, and you're going to go in between those. Alright, so that's 1, 2. And now you're going to make a shell at your chain 3 space. So there's going to be 4 double crochet. Chain 3. And 4 double crochet. I'm going to do this one more time, and then you guys should pretty much be on your own, because those were the hardest parts, was figuring out what she wanted with round 3 and round 4. Alright, so go in between, you skip 2, You're going to go in between and do your cluster. 1, 2. You're going to go and do clusters in between these clusters now. So that's 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And so we're back at a shell. So we're going to go in between 2 of these double crochet. So 1, 2. Basically, you're splitting the shell in half. And now you're going to do a shell in your chain 3 space. You always do a shell in your chain 3 space. And the shell is 4 double crochet, chain 3, 4 double crochet. Alright. That's 3. Do one more. Okay. And then skip 1, skip 2. And we're going to go in between those. 2, make a cluster. And now we have our cluster spaces. I don't know if y'all can see that. But see how in between the clusters it's like a little triangle? Those are your cluster spaces. Okay? And for your first cluster, you make your cluster space by going in between those 4 double crochet that are there together. So we're going to do our clusters. 1, 2, 1, 2, and 1, 2. And now we're going to make our cluster space between those 4 double crochet. We're going to split them in half. That's 1, 2, and then we're going to make a shell. 3, 4, chain 3, and 1, 2, 3. Come on now. 4. Okay, so we have 4 double crochet. We're going to split them, and we're going to go in between them and make our first cluster. 1, 2, and then we're going to go in between the cluster space and do a cluster. Okay, and then we're going to go between these 4. We're going to go in the middle, make a cluster. 1, 2, and now we're going to do our shell. 1, 2, 3, 4, chain 3, and do 4. 2 double crochet. 3, 4. Alright, and so now we have 4. We're going to go and make our own cluster space with this first set. So we're going to do 1, 2, and then we have 3 cluster spaces. Got 1, 2, 3. Okay? And so you're going to do your clusters in those cluster spaces. 1, 2, and 1, 2, and 1, 2. Now, you still have one more cluster space. You have 4 here. You need to split them, and you need to do one more cluster. Okay? 1 and 2. And now you're going to slip stitch to join with your starting chain. Remember, keep your slip stitches kind of loose because you got to go up under them. And when you finish out your next round, and you're going to slip stitch over to your first chain 3 space. And that is this blanket. That is all you're going to be doing for the rest of your rounds. Is you're going to just rinse and repeat that last step. And there you go. There you go, Miss Roxanne. There is your stitch. That's how it's done. And if you have any problems seeing that, then I'll Skype with you and try and slow down. But that's the best I can do.